Okay, so once again, good morning, all of you. So in yesterday's lecture, we have discussed the next point, that is radiation exchange between black bodies separated by a non-absorbing medium. Radiation exchange between black bodies separated by a non-absorbing medium. So for that derivation, we have considering the two bodies. That is, first body having area is A1 and second body having area is A2. And from that area, we have considering this small elementary area. So from the A1 shape, we are considering the DA1 as a small elementary area, and similarly from the shape 2, that is from the area A2, we are considering the small elemental area DA2. Okay, so whatever the plate A1 or area A1 we are considering having temperature is T1, and whatever the plate 2 we have considering having temperature is T2. Then we have considering the angles with the normal, and the distance between the two elemental areas, that is da1 and da2, that distance is nothing but r distance is there. And for the elemental area da1, angle makes theta 1, and for the elemental da2, angle makes theta 2 with the normal. Okay, so from that we have written the equations for the solid angle. We have written the equations for the solid angle. So we have written the equation for the solid angle for the elemental shape, that is small elemental area dA1. So for that solid angle at 1 is, how to calculate that solid angle? Solid angle is nothing but area divided by distance square. So area which is normal. So for the calculation of the solid angle for the elemental area 1, we have written the area of the another object where the radiation are striking. That area we have to consider for the calculating the solid angle. So from that we get the equation as a d omega 1 is equal to da2 cos theta 2 divided by r square. And similarly we have written the equation for the solid angle for the elemental area 2, that is d omega 2 is equal to da1 cos theta 1 divided by r square. And we have given the name for that two equations, that is equation number 1. Okay, after that we have written the equations for the energy leaving da1 in the direction given by the angle per unit solid angle. So as we know that what is meant by intensity of radiation, or what is the formula for the intensity of radiation, that is divided by da into d omega. So by using that equation we have written the formula for the dq. So what is the formula for the dq? That is intensity of radiation into area and into solid angle. So by using that we have written the, okay, so dq1 to 2 is equal to, we have written the equation as a ib1 into da1 cos theta 1 d omega 1. So already we have calculated the equation for the d omega 1. So we have put that value into the equation. We get the equation for the how much heat is transferred from the elemental area 1 to elemental area 2, and that is the equation number 2. Okay, then we have written the equation for the what is the amount of energy radiated from the elemental area 2 and absorbed by the elemental area da1. So similarly we have written the equation for the dq2 to 1, and what is that equation? ib2 cos theta 2 cos theta 1 da2 da1 divided by r square, and that is the equation number 3. ओके, आता आपल्याला काय समजलेलं आहे? एलिमेंटल एरिया 1 पासून 2 पर्यंत किती एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे आणि 2 पासून 1 पर्यंत किती एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे. सो बाय युजिंग दिस टू इक्वेशन वी हॅव टू राइट डाउन द इक्वेशन फॉर द नेट रेट ऑफ हीट ट्रान्सफर. समजते बघा, एका एलिमेंटल एरियाकडून जर 100 एवढी एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होत असेल आणि दुसऱ्या एलिमेंट कडून 50 एवढी एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होत असेल, तर नेट हीट ट्रान्सफर काय असणार आहे? 50 असणार आहे. 100 मायनस 50 इज इक्वल टू 50. So in that way we have to calculate the net rate of heat transfer. So what is the equation for that? dq12. Okay, 1 dash 2 is, what is the meaning of that? Heat transfer from the elemental area 1 and striking on the elemental area 2. So dq1 to 2, what is the 1 2, what is the meaning of that? Net rate of heat transfer. And what is the equation for that? dq1 to 2 minus dq2 to 1. So from that we get the equation as a da1 da2 cos theta 1 cos theta 2 divided by r square into bracket ib1 minus ib2. So we know that relation between intensity of radiation and emissive power. Okay, so emissive power is nothing but pi times intensity of radiation. So by using that, ib1 is equal to eb1 divided by pi, and ib2 is equal to eb2 divided by pi. So similarly, we have to put that value instead of ib1, that is eb1 upon pi, and instead of ib2 we have to put the value as the eb2 by pi. So put that value, then we get the equation number 4. And what is that equation? dq12 is equal to da1 da2 cos theta 1 cos theta 2 divided by pi r square into bracket eb1 minus eb2. And we know that what is the Stepan-Boltzmann constant? The Stepan-Boltzmann equation, that is eb is equal to sigma t raised to 4. So instead of eb1 we have to put the sigma t1 raised to 4, and instead of eb2 we have to put the sigma t2 raised to 4. Okay, so this is about the net heat transfer between these two small elemental areas. म्हणजे जे काय आपण स्मॉल एलिमेंटल एरिया कन्सिडर केलेला आहे DA1 आणि DA2, त्याच्यासाठी नेट रेट ऑफ हीट ट्रान्सफर मिळालेला आहे. सो फॉर दी total net heat transfer we have to calculate from using this equation. So how to calculate the total net heat transfer? By taking the integration. So in this equation there is a da1 is there, da2 is there, so we have to take the integration with respect to a1 and with respect to a2, and that is the equation number 6, that is sigma into bracket t1 raised to 4 minus t2 raised to 4 integration with respect to a1 integration with respect to a2 cos theta 1 cos theta 2 da1 da2 divided by pi r square, and this is the equation number 6. This is nothing but this is the equation of the rate of total net heat transfer for the total areas a1 and a2. Okay, then we have written the equation for the rate of radiant energy emitted by a1 that falls on the a2. So already we have written that equation for the small elemental area. Now we have to write the equation for the total area, that is a1. म्हणजे a1 पासून किती एनर्जी इमिट होणार आहे आणि a2 वरती किती स्ट्राइक होणार आहे. सो फॉर दॅट वी हॅव टू राइट डाउन द इक्वेशन. सो व्हाट इज द इक्वेशन फॉर दॅट? q122 is equal to ib1. We have to take the integration with respect to a1 and a2, and what is that equation? Cos theta 1 cos theta 2 da1 da2 divided by r square. So instead of ib1 we have to put sigma t1 raised to 4 divided by pi, so we get the equation number 7. Okay, so next, the rate of total energy radiated by a1 is given by, so already we know that how to calculate the total energy radiated by any area. If now we have to considering the black body. So as this Stepan-Boltzmann law, what is the equation? eb is equal to sigma t raised to 4, and what is the unit of that? Watt per meter square. So we have to convert into watt, so we have to multiplying the area. So from that we get the equation for the q1 is equal to a1 sigma t1 raised to 4. Okay, so now we have to calculate the hence the fraction of rate of energy leaving area a1 and impinging on area 2. So how to calculate? That is q122 divided by q1. So we have to take the ratio of this equation number 7 and q1. We get that value is nothing but f122, that is shape factor. What is the another name for that? f122, that is, it is known as configuration factor, surface factor, view factor between the two radiating surfaces, and it is function of the geometry only. Okay, then we have defined the shape factor. Shape factor म्हणजे काय असणार? What is mean by shape factor? The fraction of radioactive energy that is diffused from one surface element and strikes the other surface directly. म्हणजे एका सरफेस वरून दुसऱ्या सरफेस वरती जी काही डायरेक्टली एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे, तो जो काही फ्रॅक्शन असणार आहे, that is nothing but shape factor. So we have to return the equation in the form of shape factor, that is q122 is equal to f122 a1 sigma t1 raised to 4, and that is the equation number 9. Okay, so this amount of energy is directly striking from the element 1 area a1 to area 2. Okay, and that is the equation number 9. Yes sir, present the screen now. Okay, so we get the equation as it in the form of shape factor. शेप फॅक्टर म्हणजे समजलं बघा, एका एलिमेंटल एरिया मधून जी काही डायरेक्टली एनर्जी दुसऱ्या एलिमेंट वरती ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे, तो जो फ्रॅक्शन असणार आहे, दॅट इज नथिंग बट शेप फॅक्टर. सो इन दी फॉर्म ऑफ शेप फॅक्टर वी गेट द इक्वेशन एज q122 is equal to f122, that is nothing but shape factor a1 sigma t1 raised to 4, and that is the equation number 9. Now this is for the energy transfer from the element from the area a1 to area a2. Now we have to calculate the equation for the 2 to 1. So Already we have written that equation. We have to write down that same equation. Similarly, the rate of radiant energy by A2 that falls on A1 from equation 3, it is given by Q2 to 1. Already we have that equation, that is equation number 3, sigma T2 raised to 4. We have to take the integration with respect to A1, A2, cos theta 1, cos theta 2, dA1, dA2 divided by pi r square. Okay. And the total rate of energy radiated by A2, जो काय एरिया A2 आहे तिथून टोटल एनर्जी तो एरिया किती रेडिएट करणार आहे ते आपण कसं फाइंड आउट करतोय बाय युजिंग दी स्टीफन बोल्ट्झमन लॉ. And what is the Stefan Boltzmann law? Q2 is equal to A2 sigma T2 raised to 4. So by using that equation म्हणजे एवढी एनर्जी काय होणार आहे त्या एलिमेंट मधून ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे, पण सगळीच एनर्जी एलिमेंटल एरिया किंवा तो A1 जो एरिया आहे त्याच्यावरती ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे का, तर सगळी एनर्जी होणार नाही, काही एनर्जी सराउंडिंग मध्ये पण जाणार आहे. सो Q2 is nothing but total energy radiated by the area 2. Okay, so Q2 is equal to A2 sigma T2 raised to 4. Okay, so hence the fraction of the rate of energy leaving area A2 and impinging on area is given by, समजले, म्हणजे A2 मधून टोटल एनर्जी A1 वरती किती स्ट्राईक होणार आहे डिवायडेड बाय A2 मधून टोटल एनर्जी किती ट्रान्सफर झाली. सो दॅट रेशियो इज नथिंग बट शेप फॅक्टर. सो Q2 2 to 1 divided by Q2 is equal to, we get the equation number 10, that is 1 upon A2 integration of A1 A2 cos theta 1 cos theta 2 dA1 dA2 divided by pi r square, and that is the equation number 10. Okay, and this is nothing but shape factor, and it is denoted by F1 to, sorry, in this case we have to write down the shape factor for 2 to 1. So F2 to 1 is there. Okay, yeah sir, next slide. Okay, so we get the equation as a Q2 to 1 divided by Q2, म्हणजेच काय असणार आहे, हा शेप फॅक्टर असणार आहे. सो शेप फॅक्टर फ्रॉम एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर फ्रॉम 2 to 1. So Q2 to 1 divided by Q2 is nothing but F2 to 1. Okay, F2 to 1. So all of you write down, hence the fraction of, hence yesterday we have written the equation of Q2, that is Q2 is equal to A2 sigma T2 raised to 4. Now next we have to write down, hence the fraction of the rate of energy, hence the fraction of the rate of energy leaving area A2, hence the fraction of the rate of energy leaving area A2 and impinging on area A1 is given by, and impinging on area A1 is given by, so write down that equation Q2 to 1 divided by Q2. Q2 to 1 चं meaning काय असणार आहे, एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर फ्रॉम दी एरिया A2 to area A1 divided by त्या एरिया 2 मधून जी काही टोटल एनर्जी इमिट होणार, that is nothing but Q2. So that ratio is nothing but shape factor. So what is the equation for that? 1 upon A2 integration with respect to A1 integration with respect to A2 cos theta 1 cos theta 2 dA1 dA2 divided by pi r square, and that is the equation number 10. Okay, so all of you write down equation number 10. Equation number 10, that is Q2 to 1 divided by Q2 is equal to 1 upon A2 integration with respect to A1 integration with respect to A2 cos theta 1 cos theta 2 dA1 dA2 divided by pi r square, and that is the equation number 10. Okay, and this is nothing but shape factor. So what is the shape factor? Shape factor from the area 2 to 1. So Q2 to 1 divided by Q2 is nothing but F2 to 1, and this F2 to 1 is the shape factor of A2 with respect to A1. Okay, so all of you write down F2 to 1, F2 to 1 is the shape factor of A2, F2 to 1 is the shape factor of A2 with respect to, with respect to A1, with respect to A1. Okay, so from this we have to write down the equation for Q2 to 1. Q2 to 1 is equal to what? F2 to 1 into Q1. So from that earlier equation, Q2 to 1 divided by Q2 is equal to F2 to 1. So from this equation we have to write down the equation for Q2 to 1. So Q2 to 1 is equal to F2 to 1 into Q2. And what is the equation of Q2? That is A2 sigma T2 raised to 4. So write down Q2 to 1 is equal to F2 to 1 A2 sigma T2 raised to 4, and that is the equation number 11. That is the equation number 11. Okay, so now from the equation number 8 and from the equation number 10, so what is the equation number 8? Already we have written the equation number 8, that is Q1 to 2 divided by q1 is equal to f122. And what is the equation number 10? That is q221 divided by q2 is equal to f221. सो ह्या दोन्ही इक्वेशन मध्ये काय आहे तर इंटिग्रेशन नंतरच्या ज्या काही टर्म आहेत त्या सेम आहेत. ओनली डिफरन्स इन 1/a2 इज देअर अँड फ्रॉम इक्वेशन नंबर 8 1/a1 is there. Okay, 1/a2 and 1/a1 is there. So from this equation we get the equation as a1 f122 is equal to a2 f221. Okay, this is the equation number 12. इक्वेशन 8 आणि इक्वेशन 10 जर तुम्ही बघितला तर इंटिग्रेशन नंतरचा पार्ट जो आहे तो सेम आहे. So only difference is the 1/a1 is there and 1/a2 is there. So instead of q2 upon q2 to 1 upon q2, that is nothing but f2 to 1. Okay, so f2 to 1 into a2 is equal to f1 to 2 is into a1. So this is the equation we get, that is the equation number 12. What is that equation? a1 into f1 to 2 is equal to a2 f2 to 1. This is the equation number 12. And what is the name for this equation? That is nothing but reciprocity theorem. Okay, this equation is nothing but we get this equation by using the reciprocity theorem. So all of you write down in the bracket, we have to write down this is nothing but reciprocity theorem. Reciprocity theorem, a1 f12 is equal to a2 f21. That is nothing but reciprocity theorem. Okay, so this is about the equation 12, that is a1 f122 is equal to a2 f221. Okay, then next slide. So now thus the net rate of heat transfer between two surfaces a1 and a2 is given by net rate of heat transfer in the form of shape factor. आपल्याला shape factor च्या फॉर्म मध्ये इक्वेशन लिहायचं आहे. सो ऑलरेडी वी हॅव इक्वेशन ऑफ q12. आपल्याकडे q12 चे इक्वेशन आहे. इक्वेशन नंबर 6 जर बघितलं तुम्ही q12 चे इक्वेशन आहे. व्हॉट इज दॅट इक्वेशन? सिग्मा t1 रेस टू 4 minus t2 रेस टू 4 integration with respect to a1, integration with respect to a2, cos theta 1 cos theta 2 dA1 dA2 divided by pi r square. Equation number 6 बघा एकदा. See the equation number 6. Okay, so what is the value of, so from that equation we have to write down the equation for the in the form of shape factor. Shape factor म्हणजे काय असणार आहे? f122 is nothing but what is the equation for f122? q122 divided by q1. Okay, so whatever the part after that integration signs, integration with respect to a1 and a2, so we have to get the equation as a q122 is equal to a1 f12 sigma t1 raised to 4 minus t2 raised to 4. किंवा आपण कसं लिहू शकतो? a2 f221 sigma t1 raised to 4 minus t2 raised to 4. Okay, so all of you write down the equation. Net rate of heat transfer between two surfaces a1 and a2 is given by, in the form of shape factor we have written the equation. So q12 is equal to a1 into f12 sigma t1 raised to 4 minus t2 raised to 4, or how to write that equation? a2 f221 sigma t1 raised to 4 minus t2 raised to 4. And this equation is applicable to only black surfaces. This equation is applicable to only black surfaces. Okay, so all of you write down this equation is applicable to only black surfaces. Only black surfaces. आपलं जे डेरिवेशन होतं ते डेरिवेशन मध्ये आपण ज्या काही दोन एरियाज कन्सिडर करते ते कशाचे होते? ब्लॅक बॉडीचे होते. सो दिस इक्वेशन इज ऍप्लिकेबल टू ओनली ब्लॅक सर्फेसेस. ओके, so this is about the our derivation, or this is the last equation for the radiation exchange between black bodies separated by a non-absorbing medium. Non-absorbing medium. Okay, so that equation we get, that is q1 to 2 a1 f1 2 sigma t1 raised to 4 minus t2 raised to 4. Okay, so आता आपण शेप फॅक्टरची डेफिनेशन बघितलेलं. व्हॉट इज द शेप फॅक्टर? शेप फॅक्टर मे बी डिफाइन्ड ॲज द फ्रॅक्शन ऑफ radiative energy that is diffused from one surface element and strikes the other surface directly. जो काय फ्रॅक्शन आहे, कशाचं फ्रॅक्शन असणार आहे? समजा दोन एरियाज आहेत A1 आणि A2. A1 मधून जी काही एनर्जी टोटल एनर्जी असणार आहे ती डिनॉमिनेटरला असणार आहे. म्हणजे A1 मधून जी काही टोटल एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे दॅट एनर्जी इज ऍट दी डिनॉमिनेटर. आणि A1 मधून ट्रान्सफर होणारी एनर्जी आणि A2 वरती स्ट्राईक होणारी एनर्जी आहे तो न्यूमरेटरला असणार आहे. म्हणजे हा जो फ्रॅक्शन आहे, हा जो रेशो आहे, दॅट इज नथिंग बट शेप फॅक्टर. Okay, now I have to see the silent features of the shape factor. Okay, silent features of the shape factor. So write down next point, silent features of the shape factor. Silent features of the shape factor. Okay, so write down the silent features of the shape factor. Write down first silent feature. The shape factor is, write down, the shape factor is purely a function of geometric parameters only. Write down first silent feature. The shape factor is, the shape factor is purely a function of, purely a function of geometric parameters only. Geometric parameters only. ओके, जो काही शेप फॅक्टर आहे तो कशावरती डिपेंड असणार आहे? जॉमेट्रिक जे काही पॅरामीटर्स असणार आहे, म्हणजे ज्या एलिमेंट आपण एरिया जो कन्सिडर करणार आहे त्याचा शेप कसा आहे त्याच्यावरती हा काय असणार आहे? शेप फॅक्टर डिपेंड असणार आहे. Okay, so this is the first silent feature of the shape factor. Then second, write down second silent feature. When the two bodies are exchanging, when the two bodies are exchanging radiant energy with each other, when the two bodies, when the two bodies are exchanging radiant energy, radiant energy with each other, with each other, with each other, the shape factor relation is given by, the shape factor relation is given by, ओके, ज्यावेळेला दोन बॉडीज असतील आणि त्या दोन बॉडीज जर रेडिएशन एक्सचेंज करत असतील विथ इच अदर, at that time what is the relation between the shape factors for that two areas? So what is that relation? So already we have seen that reciprocity theorem, already we have seen that reciprocity theorem. So by using that we have to write down the equation a1 f1 to 2 is equal to a1 f1 to 2 is equal to a2 into f2 to 1. Okay, or in general how to write this equation, that is ai into fi to j is equal to aj into fj to I. Okay, so all of you write down this second silent feature. When the two bodies are exchanging radiant energy with each other, when the two bodies are exchanging radiant energy with each other, the shape factor relation is given by, the shape factor relation is given by a1 f1 to 2 is equal to a2 f2 to 1, or in general how to write this equation, ai into fi to j is equal to aj into fj to I, fj to I. Okay, so this is the second silent feature for the shape factor. Now I have to write down the third silent feature of the shape factor. Okay, so third we have to write down the enclosure theorem. Okay, for the shape factor, what is the third silent feature, that is enclosure theorem. So for that enclosure theorem, we have to write down the equation. Integration changes from n1 to n f m f m to n is equal to 1. Okay, so suppose you have to consider enclosure body is there, and in that body n number of components are there. So for that n number of components, we have to write down the equation, means we have to do the addition of all the shape factors. Means suppose we have to consider the three bodies are there. So three bodies are there, means from the area 1 to same area heat transfer takes place, then from area 1 to second area, then from area 1 to third area. So that total addition is nothing but 1. समजते बघा, ज्यावेळेला बॉडी एनक्लोजर टाइप मध्ये असणार आहे त्यावेळेला तीन बॉडी आपण असं कन्सिडर केलं, 1 2 3. तर बॉडी 1 मधून 1 मध्ये काही हीट ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे, 1 to 2 काही हीट ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे, 1 to 3 काही हीट ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे. सो दॅट टोटल इज नथिंग बट 1. Okay, so in that manner we have to written the equation for the n number of enclosed bodies are there. So how to write that equation for that, that is f121 plus f122 plus f123 plus dash 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 plus f1 to n is equal to 1. Similarly from 2 to other bodies, similarly from nth to other bodies, we have written the equation. Okay, so all of you write down the equation. First of all, you have to write down the integration changes from n1 to n or summation. Then f m to n is equal to m 1, and m changes from 1 to dash dash up to n. Okay, so we have taken the equations for the n number of objects. So what are that equation? That is f11 plus f12 plus f13 plus dash 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 plus f1n is equal to 1. Similarly, we have to written the equation for the second object. So that is f21 plus f22 plus f23 plus dash 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 plus f23 2 to n is equal to 1. Okay, and similarly we have to write down the equation for the nth object, that is fn21 plus fn22 plus fn23 plus dash 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 plus fnn is equal to 1. Okay, so these are the general equations. ज्यावेळेला n number of objects in the same enclosure are there, so for that we have to write down the equation in that manner, and we have to find out the values of the shape factor. Okay, so as example म्हणून खाली लिहा, consider three bodies. Whatever the parts I have written at the right hand side, we have to write down at the lower side. Consider the three bodies. Consider three bodies. Consider three bodies. So for three bodies, we have to write down the equations in the form of shape factors. If three bodies are there, then we have to write down the equations in the form of shape factors. म्हणजे बॉडी 1 कडून 1 पर किती हीट ट्रान्सफर होणार, 1 to 2 किती ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे, 1 to 3 किती ट्रान्सफर होणार, ह्या सगळ्याचे ऍडिशन म्हणजे काय असणार आहे, 1 असणार आहे. कारण एनक्लोज्ड बॉडीज आहेत त्यामुळे हीट ट्रान्सफर होताना ह्या तिन्ही ऑब्जेक्ट मध्येच होणार आहे. So write down, consider three bodies. So for that three bodies we have to write down the equations. F121 plus F12 plus F13 is equal to 1. Okay, similarly for the second body we have to write down the equation f21 plus f22 plus f23 is equal to 1. F23 is equal to 1. And similarly we have to write down the equation for the third body, that is f31 plus f32 plus f33 is equal to 1. Okay, so all of you write down these three equations for the three bodies are there. एक एक्झाम्पल म्हणून आपण थ्री बॉडीज कन्सिडर केलेले आहेत, तर तीन बॉडीज असतील तर त्याच्यासाठी आपल्याला इक्वेशन ह्या फॉर्म मध्ये लिहायचे आहेत. आणि बाय युजिंग दिस इक्वेशन्स वी हॅव टू कॅल्क्युलेट दी ऑल दी व्हॅल्यूज ऑफ दी शेप. Okay, so by using these three equations we have to calculate the shape factors of the. Okay, so all of you written this equation, these three equations. ज्यावेळेला तीन बॉडीज असतील तर त्यावेळेला ही 3 इक्वेशन असणार आहेत. ह्या 3 इक्वेशनचा यूज करून आपण काय करणार आहे, शेप फॅक्टर्स फाइंड आउट करणार आहे. बाय युजिंग दिस 3 इक्वेशन्स वी हॅव टू कॅल्क्युलेट दी शेप फॅक्टर्स. अशाच प्रकारे जर 4 बॉडीज असतील, 5 बॉडीज असतील, then we have to write down the equation in that manner and we have to calculate the shape factors. We have to calculate the shape factors. Okay, then yes sir, next slide. Okay, so all of you write down. Next silent feature, we have to calculate the shape factor for the flat surface. Okay, if flat surface is there, ज्यावेळेला फ्लॅट सरफेस असणार आहे त्यावेळेला जी काही एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे ती फ्लॅट सरफेस कडून सराउंडिंगला होणार आहे. ओके, फ्लॅट सरफेस कडून सराउंडिंगला होणार आहे, म्हणजे एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर फ्रॉम दॅट एलिमेंट 1 to 1 काय असणार आहे, 0 असणार आहे. ओके, सो राईट डाऊन फॉर द फ्लॅट सरफेस व्हॉट इज द व्हॅल्यू ऑफ द शेप फॅक्टर. एक एरिया आपण कन्सिडर केले, एक फ्लॅट प्लेट कन्सिडर केलेली आहे, ती काय करणार आहे, ती बॉडी रॅडिएशन इमिट करणार आहे, पण ती सगळी रॅडिएशन त्या फ्लॅट प्लेटवरती येणार आहेत का, तर नाहीत येणार. ती कुठं जाणार आहेत, सगळी सराउंडिंगला जाणार आहे. So whatever the energy transfer from that element 1 to that element itself, so that value becomes 0. So for the flat plate, shape factor from 1 to 1 is equal to 0. So all of you draw the diagram and write down that equation. Okay, so F1 to 1, F11 is equal to 0. समजले, फ्लॅट सरफेस असेल त्यावेळेला त्या सरफेस कडून त्या सरफेस कडे जी काही एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर असणार आहे ती 0 असणार आहे. सो देअर फोर F11 is equal to 0. Then next write down convex surface is there. If convex surface is there, so draw that diagram. For the convex surface also, whatever the energy transfer from that particular convex surface, म्हणजे कॉन्वेक्स सरफेस कडून जी काही एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे ती सगळी सराउंडिंगला होणार आहे. त्या एलिमेंट मध्ये काही एनर्जी परत ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे का, तर नाही होणार. सो देअर फोर F1 to 1 is equal to 0. So draw the diagram of the convex shape and write down the shape factor for the convex surface, that is F1 to 1 is equal to 0. ओके, कॉन्वेक्स सरफेस साठी पण काय असणार आहे, 0 असणार आहे. ओके, सो फॉर कॉन्वेक्स सरफेस F11 is equal to 0. Okay, next write down the concave surface. Write down concave surface. Okay, so draw the diagram for the concave surface. आता concave surface मध्ये जर बघितला जी काही होणार आहे काही जी एनर्जी त्या एलिमेंट वरती स्ट्राईक होणार आहे. सो देअर whatever the energy transfer from that element 1 and striking on the same element, that amount is not equal to 0. Okay, some amount will be transferred to the surrounding and some amount will be striking on the same element. So therefore 1 to 1 some energy transfer is takes place. So therefore F1 to 1 not equal to 0. Okay, so write concave surface F11 not equal to 0. समजले, फ्लॅट प्लेट मध्ये एनर्जी सगळी सराउंडिंगला जाणार आहे, कॉन्वेक्स सरफेस मध्ये सगळी एनर्जी सराउंडिंगला जाणार आहे, म्हणजे त्या सरफेस मध्ये एनर्जी स्ट्राईक होणार नाही, ती सराउंडिंग मध्ये जाणार. पण कॉन्केव्ह सरफेस मध्ये काही एनर्जी आहे ती त्या सरफेस वरती स्ट्राईक होते. सो देअर फॉर F1 to 1 नॉट इक्वल टू 0. F1 to 1 इज नॉट इक्वल टू 0. ओके, then write down the seventh point. So in that, so write down seventh diagram. So in that we are considering the one area, that is A1, and from that some amount of energy will be transferred to the A3 and A4, and that A3 and A4, that whole body is nothing but A2. समजले बघा, A1 हा एक एरिया आहे A3 A4 हे दोन एरियाज आहेत आणि त्या होल A3 A4 ला आपण काय म्हटलेलं आहे A2 म्हटलेलं आहे. सो शेप फॅक्टर दॅट इज एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर फ्रॉम 1 to 2 म्हणजे A1 to A2 म्हणजेच काय असणार आहे A1 to A3 प्लस असणार आहे आणि A1 to A4 पण प्लस असणार आहे. सो F1 to 2 इज इक्वल टू F1 to 3 प्लस F1 to 4. समजले का बघा. A1 हा एरिया आहे आणि A3 आणि A4 हे A2 चे पार्ट्स आहेत. ज्यावेळेला 1 to 2 एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे असं म्हणतोय त्यावेळेला आपण कुठले इक्वेशन लागू करू शकतोय F1 to 3 प्लस F1 to 4. पण हे रिव्हर्स पॉसिबल नाही म्हणजे 2 to 1 ज्यावेळेला तुम्ही घेणार आहे 2 to 1 सो ऍट दॅट टाइम इट इज नॉट इक्वल टू 3 to 1 प्लस 4 to 1. रिव्हर्स इक्वेशन आपण यूज करू शकत नाही. इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल टू यूज रिव्हर्स इक्वेशन. Okay, so we have to write down the equation F1 to 2 is equal to F1 to 3 plus F1 to 4, and reverse equation is not possible, so therefore we have to write down F2 to 1 not equal to F3 to 1 plus F4 to 1. Okay, then write down next equation for the parallel plates. If two parallel plates are there, plate number 1 and plate number 2, ज्याला दोन्ही पॅरलल प्लेट्स असतील तर त्यावेळेला प्लेट 1 वरून जी काही एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे ती कुठे जाणार आहे, सगळी एनर्जी प्लेट 2 वरती जाणार आहे. कारण हे जे आपण डिस्टन्स कन्सिडर समजा ह्या लॉंग इन्फायनेटली लॉंग फिन असतील प्लेट्स असतील तर 1 मधून जी काही एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे ती सगळी एनर्जी कुठं स्ट्राईक होणार आहे 2 वरती स्ट्राईक होणार आहे, किंवा 2 मधून जी काही रेडिएशन इमिट होणार आहे ती एनर्जी कुठं स्ट्राईक होणार आहे 1 वरती स्ट्राईक होणार आहे. सो देअरफॉर व्हॉट आर द शेप फॅक्टर्स फॉर द पॅरलल प्लेट्स दॅट इज F1 to 2 is equal to F2 to 1 is equal to 1. Okay, so all of you write down next, that is parallel plates. So what is the values of the shape factor for the parallel plates? So we have to draw the two parallel plates are there 1 to 2. If the length of these parallel plates is maximum, so at that time what will happen, whatever the energy transfer from the 1 that will be strike on the element 2, and whatever the energy radiated from the element 2 that same amount will be striking on the element 1. So what is the shape factor for this, for the parallel plates, that is F1 to 2 is equal to F2 to 1 is equal to 1. Okay, so write down the shape factors for the parallel plates, that is F1 to 2 is equal to F2 to 1 is equal to 1. Okay, F1 to 2 is equal to F2 to 1 is equal to 1. ओके, सो दिस इज अबाउट दी पॅरलल प्लेट. समजलं का बघा. फ्लॅट सरफेस असेल तर शेप फॅक्टर काय असणार आहे F11 0 असणार आहे. कॉन्व्हेक्स सरफेस असेल F11 काय असणार आहे 0 असणार आहे. कॉन्केव्ह सरफेस असेल तर F11 नॉट इक्वल टू 0 असणार आहे. पॅरलल प्लेट्स असतील त्याची लेंथ जास्त असेल तर त्या केसमध्ये काय असणार आहे F1 to 2 इज इक्वल टू F2 to 1 इज इक्वल टू काय असणार आहे 1 असणार आहे. ओके, सो दिस इज अबाउट दी silent features of the shape factor, silent features of the shape factor. Now we have to take the some examples and we have to find out the shape factors for that particular diagram. Okay, so write down first problem. Write down first, calculate the shape factor for hemisphere. Calculate the shape factor for, calculate the shape factor for hemisphere. Calculate the shape factor for hemisphere. Calculate the shape factor for hemisphere. So all of you draw one hemisphere. Okay, draw one hemisphere. It is the part of this sphere, hemisphere. Okay, so all of you draw that diagram of the hemisphere. So whatever the flat plate is there, whatever the flat plate component is there, we have to give the name as a 1, and whatever the curvature is there, we have to give the name as a 2. ओके, हॉरिझॉन्टल जी प्लेट आहे त्याला 1 म्हणा आणि कर्वेचर जो आहे तो त्याला 2 म्हणा. ओके, नाउ आवर एम इज टू कॅल्क्युलेट द शेप फॅक्टर फॉर दिस हेमिस्फियर. म्हणजे इथं शेप फॅक्टर किती असणार आहे, म्हणजे एलिमेंट 1 कडून एनर्जी काही 2 कडे ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे म्हणजे F1 to 2 कॅल्क्युलेट करायचं आपल्याला, किंवा 1 कडून 1 कडे काही ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे का तर F11 कॅल्क्युलेट केला पाहिजे आपल्याला. देन वी हॅव टू कॅल्क्युलेट द शेप फॅक्टर फॉर द एलिमेंट 2 दॅट इज 2 to 1 काहीतरी एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होईल. 2 to 2 काहीतरी एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होईल. सो हॅव टू कॅल्क्युलेट these four values of the shape factor. Okay, these four values of the shape factor. आता ही डायग्राम जी आहे, दिस इज दी एनक्लोज्ड डायग्राम. सो ऑलरेडी वी नो दॅट एनक्लोजर थेरम. ही डायग्राम जी आहे ती एनक्लोज्ड डायग्राम आहे. जे काही डॅशड लाईन दाखवल्या ह्याचा अर्थ काय, तिथून ही सराउंडिंगला ट्रान्सफर होणार नाही. सो दिस इज नथिंग बट दिस इज ए एनक्लोजर. So we have to use the enclosure theorem. So what is the enclosure theorem? So already we have written the enclosure theorem for the three bodies. Now we have to write down the here two bodies are there, 1 and 2. So for these two bodies we have to write down the enclosure theorem. So F1 to 1 plus F1 to 2 is equal to 1. And similarly we have to write down the equation for the shape 2, that is F2 to 1 plus F2 to 2 is equal to 1. समजले. 1 मधून जी काही एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे ती 1 मध्ये काहीतरी होईल आणि 2 मध्ये काहीतरी होईल. ह्या दोन्हीचे सम म्हणजे 1 असणार आहे. 1चं मिनिंग काय असणार आहे, 100% एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर झाली. 0.5 असेल तर 50% एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर झाली. ओके, F1 to 1. आता हा 1 जी आहे, सरफेस 1 जो आहे तो फ्लॅट प्लेट आहे. सो ऍज वी नो दॅट फॉर द फ्लॅट सरफेस 1 to 1 काय असते, 0 असते. सो F1 to 1 इज इक्वल टू 0. समजले. फ्लॅट प्लेट साठी F11 इज इक्वल टू 0 असते. जर F11 0 झाला तर F12 ची व्हॅल्यू काय येणार आहे. सो फ्रॉम दॅट इक्वेशन वी गेट द व्हॅल्यू ऑफ F122 इज इक्वल टू 1. म्हणजे ह्याचं मिनिंग काय झालं, F110 म्हणजे काय झालं, सरफेस 1 कडून जी काही एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे ती सरफेस 1 वरती स्ट्राईक होणार नाही. F11 इज इक्वल टू 0चं मिनिंग काय असणार आहे, सगळी एनर्जी एलिमेंट 2 वरती स्ट्राईक होणार आहे, 1 वरती काहीच एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार नाही. आणि F122 is equal to 1. What is the meaning of that? Energy transfer from the element 1 to element 2, that is 100% energy transfer is takes place from plate 1 to plate 2. So therefore F122 is equal to 1. Okay, so this now I have calculated the two shape factors, that is F11 and F12. Because F11 is 0 because that is flat plate, and flat plate साठी F11 0 असते. And we have put that value into that equation, then we get the value of F122, that is 1. F122, that is 1. Okay, then we have to use the reciprocity theorem to calculate the values of the F221 and then F222. Okay, so how to calculate the how, first of all we have to write down the reciprocity theorem. So already we have written the reciprocity theorem, that is A1 into F12 is equal to A2 into F221. Okay, so we know the value of F122, that is 1. So therefore A1 is equal to A2 into F21. समजले. F122 ची व्हॅल्यू आपण काढलेली ती व्हॅल्यू 1 आहे. सो ऍट द लेफ्ट हँड साइड ओनली A1 is there. A1 into A2, A1 is equal to A2 into F221. Okay, so from that F221 is equal to what, F221 is equal to A1 upon A2, A1 upon A2. Now we have to write down the areas for the shape 1 and shape 2. हा shape 1 जो आहे तो कसा असणार आहे, सर्क्युलर असणार आहे. And what is the area of circle, that is pi r square. आणि A2 जो आहे तो हेमिस्फिअर आहे. हेमिस्फिअरचा एरिया आपण कसा कॅल्क्युलेट करतोय, स्पिअरचा एरिया जो असतोय तो 4 पाय आर स्क्वेअर असतोय आणि हेमिस्फिअरचा त्याच्या अर्धा असतोय, सो 2 पाय आर स्क्वेअर. सो A1 is nothing but shape number 1 is circular shape is there, so pi r square, and A2 is nothing but hemisphere, so area of hemisphere is nothing but 2 pi r square. So pi r square will cancel, we get the value as a 1 by 2. ओके, सो व्हॉट इज द व्हॅल्यू ऑफ F221 इज इक्वल टू 1 by 2. म्हणजे याचा अर्थ काय असणार आहे, सरफेस 2 कडून सरफेस 1 वरती जी काही एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे ती 50% असणार आहे. 2 to 1 कडे ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे, म्हणजे राहिलेली 50% कुठे ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे, 2 to 2 मध्येच ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे. ओके, सो F221 इज इक्वल टू 1 by 2. And how to calculate F222, that is 1 minus F21. So F21 is half, so therefore remaining 50% energy will be transferred into that element itself. समजले. 2 to 1 50% एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे आणि 2 to 2 50% एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे. दिस इज द मिनिंग ऑफ दिस शेप फॅक्टर. Okay, so already we get the values of F11, then F12, and now we get the values of F221 and F222. Okay, so this is about the शेप फॅक्टर फॉर दी हेमिस्फिअर. शेप फॅक्टर फॉर दी हेमिस्फिअर. तर आपल्याला चारही शेप फॅक्टर मिळालेले आहेत. ओके. Okay, then write down next slide. Yes, sir. Write down second problem. Calculate the shape factor for concentric cylinder. Calculate the shape factor for concentric cylinder. Calculate the shape factor for concentric cylinder. Concentric cylinder. Okay, so all of you draw the diagram for the shape factor for the concentric cylinders. So all of you draw that diagram, concentric cylinder diagram. One is side view, one is front view. So all of you draw. So now we have to calculate the shape factors for these concentric cylinders. That is, what is the shape factor from 1 to 1, then 1 to 2, then 2 to 1, and 2 to 2. So already we know that what is the enclosure theorem. So all of you write down that enclosure theorem, that is F11 plus F12 is equal to 1. And for the area 2, we have to write down the equation, that is F22 plus F22 is equal to 1. Okay. So जो काही एरिया 1 जो असणार आहे तो फ्लॅट सरफेस आहे. सो देअरफॉर F11 काय असणार आहे, 0 असणार आहे. सो ऑल ऑफ यू राईट डाऊन देअरफॉर F11 इज इक्वल टू 0. सो F11 0 झाला तर F122 काय असणार आहे, 1 असणार आहे. F12 काय असणार आहे, 1 असणार आहे. समजले बघा. F11 flat surface आहे, therefore that value becomes 0 and we get the value of F122 that is 1. Then we have to use the reciprocity theorem. So what is the reciprocity theorem? That is A1 F12 is equal to A2 F221. Okay. So already we have calculated the value of F122. So that value becomes 1. So A1 is equal to A2 F221. A1 is equal to A2 F221. Okay. So F221 is equal to A1 upon A2. F221 is equal to A1 upon A2. So what is the area of surface 1? That is pi into D1 into L. And what is the area of 2? That is pi into D2 into L. Okay, so from that pi L will cancel. So what is the remaining term? That is D1 upon D2. What is the remaining term? D1 upon D2. Okay, so from that we get the value as a F222. That is 1 minus F221. So that is 1 minus D1 upon D2. 1 minus D1 upon D2. आता इथं आपल्याला we don't given the values of the diameter. So we have to write the directly equations. That is F221 is equal to D1 upon D2 and F22 is equal to 1 minus D1 upon D2. 1 minus D1 upon D2. 1 minus D1 upon D2. Okay. So this is the shape factors for the concentric cylinders. फ्लॅट सरफेस असला तरी 1 to 1 काय असणार आहे, 0 असणार आहे. Then 1 to 2 काय येणार, 1 येणार. Then we have to use the reciprocity theorem. That is A1 F12 is equal to A2 F21. So from that we get the value as a f21 is equal to d1 upon d2. जर तुम्हाला डायमीटरच्या व्हॅल्यूज दिल्या तर डायमीटरच्या व्हॅल्यू पुट करायच्या and then you have to find out the shape factor, and similarly f222 is equal to 1 minus f221, so that is 1 minus d1 upon d2. Okay, so these are the shape factors for the concentric cylinder is there. If concentric cylinder is there, so these are the values we have to get. Okay, then next slide. Okay, so this is the last problem on the shape factor. Calculate the shape factor for equilateral triangle. The equilateral triangle असेल, then we have to calculate the shape factor for the equilateral triangle. So all of you draw this equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle have all three surfaces are there, 1, 2, 3. This is the enclosure diagram because at the surrounding we have drawn dotted lines or hatched lines. So what is the meaning of that? At the surrounding there is a insulation, so only heat transfer takes place at the inside of the object. Okay, so we have to calculate the shape factors for this equilateral triangle. So three surfaces are there. So for the enclosure theorem, we have to write down the equations for these three surfaces, that is f11 plus f12 plus f13 is equal to 1. Then f21 plus f22 plus f323 is equal to 1. Then for third surface 321 plus f322 plus f333 is equal to 1. Okay, समजले का बघा. एनक्लोजर थिअरम नुसार आपण ही इक्वेशन लिहिली, तीन सरफेस आहेत म्हणून तीन सरफेससाठी आपण तीन इक्वेशन लिहिणार आहे. समजले. प्रत्येक सरफेस करून दुसऱ्या सरफेस कडे काहीतरी एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे. 1 to 1 1 to 2 1 to 3, then 2 to 1 2 to 2 2 to 3, then 3 to 1 3 to 2 3 to 3, and that व्हॅल्यू बिकम्स 1. त्या तिन्हीची सम म्हणजे काय असणार आहे? 1 असणार आहे. टोटल एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे. 1 चे मीनिंग काय असणार आहे? 100% एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर. ओके, so for flat plate जर असेल तर what is the values? If flat plate is there, then f11 f22 and f33 काय असणार आहे? 0 असणार आहे. 1 to 1 एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर 0 असणार, 2 to 2 एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर 0 असणार, 3 to 3 एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर 0 असणार. म्हणजे तीन शेप फॅक्टर आपल्याला मिळतात बाय युजिंग दॅट कन्सेप्ट ऑफ द फ्लॅट प्लेट. That is f11 is equal to f22 is equal to f33. That value becomes 0. ओके, समजले का सगळ्यांना? फ्लॅट प्लेट आहे म्हणून 1 to 1 2 to 2 and 3 to 3 we get the value as a 0. Okay, so this is the equilateral triangle. 1 to 1 एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर 0 आहे, म्हणजे 1 कडून थोडी 50% एनर्जी 2 ला ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे आणि 50% एनर्जी कुठे ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे? 3 ला ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे. बिकॉज ऑफ दिस जिओमेट्री, इक्विलॅटरलची जिओमेट्रीचा जो काय शेप असणार आहे, म्हणजे 1 कडून 2 कडे जेवढी एनर्जी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे तेवढीच एनर्जी 3 कडे ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे. म्हणजे 1 to 1 0 असेल तर 1 कडून 2 आणि 1 कडून 3 कडे ही टोटल 1 असणार आहे. आणि 50-50% म्हणजे काय होणार? व्हॉट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दॅट? f122 is equal to f123 is equal to 0.5. ओके, या सर नेक्स्ट लाईन. f122 f123 is equal to 0.5. कारण हा इक्विलॅटरल ट्रायंगल आहे. 1 कडून 2 कडे जेवढी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे एनर्जी तेवढीच 3 कडे ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे. त्याच्यानंतर 2 कडून 3 कडे जेवढी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे तेवढीच 1 कडे ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे. आणि त्याच्यानंतर 3 कडून 2 कडे जेवढी ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे तेवढीच 1 कडे ट्रान्सफर होणार आहे. So we have to write down the equations. f122 is equal to f123 is equal to 0.5. Okay, then f223 is equal to 221 is equal to 0.5, and f322 is equal to f321 is equal to 0.5. Okay, so all of you put your roll numbers in the chat box. Before we have to stop the recording, all of you put your roll numbers in the chat box. Yes sir, after 2 minutes we have to stop the recording. All of you put your roll numbers in the chat box. Okay, remaining part we have to take in the next lecture.